So on board 5, I want to confine ourselves just to the north hand and give you the decision as it would exist at the table. We see that East-West are in 3-no trump, and South leads a fourth best heart. So we should know automatically as North that partner has an honor. And based on what we can see, we know that honor is either the ace or the jack. And declarer decides to play the 8 of hearts from the dummy. And this is the moment that we should know exactly what's going on. Because if declarer had the ace of hearts, they would always be playing the queen from the dummy, especially considering they have to have at least 2 hearts. So ask yourself, what would you do with queen small in the dummy and ace small in your hand, with your left hand opponent leading fourth best? Which card would you play? And the obvious answer is you would play the queen 100% of the time. No matter whether you have ace small, ace third, whatever you have, you're always playing the queen because it's your only chance to take a trick with that card. If you play low and they force out your ace, the queen is dead. So we know that with the ace of hearts in their hand, declare would always, always, always play this queen at trick 1. The fact that they didn't means that they don't have the ace. So the correct play here is to win the king. After we take that king, we can see we will take the rest of the tricks in the heart suit on this hand. And it's going to just happen with partner winning the ace of hearts. And then seeing that declare played the jack and the queen that crashed right with it, either one of two things is happening from South's perspective. East has the 10 of hearts, and they're going to take this trick, or partner just has 2 hearts left, the 10 and another one. And on this lay of the cards, partner has to remember, hey, I'm going to play the 10 and then lead this 7 back to partner, and they'll win the 9 and have the first 5 heart tricks. Board 6 is all about piecing together the auction and figuring out the shape of the dummy. And we can do that pretty easily on this hand because North South gives us a lot of information by their auction. South opens a diamond and North responds 1 heart. South now bids 2 clubs, which is almost always 5 diamonds and 4 clubs. It could sometimes be like a 4-4 type hand, but it's unlikely in these cases, especially when partners bid a heart. So 2 clubs is almost always, hey, I have 5 diamonds and 4 clubs, or obviously a lot of cards in the minor suits. And North bids 2 spades, which is fourth suit forcing, and all it says is we're forced to game, and tell me more about your hand. And South complies by bidding 3 hearts. At this moment, if we're paying attention to the auction, and this is important, just because you're not bidding doesn't mean things aren't going on. So, in order to defend correctly, you're going to want to pay attention to the auction because you'll know more about each of their hands. And if you're paying attention, you're more likely to remember it as well. It just helps you maintain your focus. So, when we see this 3 heart bid, we should be saying to ourselves, wow, this hand has 5 diamonds, 4 clubs, and 3 hearts, which means very likely they have at most 1 spade, which happens to be East's best suit. Right? East has a tremendous holding in the spade suit, especially if they're not leading that suit themselves or someone else is leading to them. It's a good spot for a couple of tricks. The problem is with South being short in spades and relatively short in the trump suit, right? They have a singleton spade and only 3 trumps. And we know all of this by the auction. So we know they have likely at most 1 spade, and we know they have exactly 3 hearts because that's what this 3 heart bid showed, right? That just showed I have exactly 3 card support for you. So if we're picturing Declare's strategy, we should assume that they're going to likely try to trump some spades in that short dummy, right? And the short side of the hand to trump, and the short side is where we can always gain a trick. So that would likely be a strategy. And in order to counter that, we just lead a trump. This is one of those times where it's very good to lead trump because we can kind of see the strategy of declare before the dummy even comes down. And last but not least, in round 2, we saw board 8, which had north-south playing 4 spades. And this is a really cool hand because the auction and the way we play it is going to determine how well we do. The auction started with north opening 1 spade, south responding 2 diamonds, and north bidding 2 hearts. Now 2 hearts here shows 4 hearts, and it's what we should do when we have 6 spades and 4 hearts. We should always show our 4 card heart suit second, and then we can always come back and bid spades later. I mean, we're in a game forcing auction, so we're going to have some time to talk about our hand. But here, when we bid two hearts, partner's going to bid two spades as south to show that they had support for spades originally. And then north is probably going to try to explore slam, but eventually we're just going to end in four spades. And we see that the king of hearts is going to be led, obviously. It's a good, safe opening lead. They have good spot cards in this suit, king, queen, 10, 8, so it looks very safe. And surprisingly, West shows up with the ace. Now, with ace small, we're always going to overtake with the West cards because we know partner has the queen, right? They're not going to lead the king without the queen. And when we play the ace, we're unblocking for our partner, meaning, let's say they have king, queen, jack. Now we're going to let them be able to take those extra two tricks by winning the ace. If we play low and they lead another heart, we're going to be forced to take the ace, and then we're going to be stuck in our hand, right? So when we're blocking up the suit like that, we want to go the extra mile to unblock, meaning we win the ace of hearts. Now we return a heart, and we see partner wins with the 10, and then gets to cash the queen of hearts. And here's where we want to make a signal to our partner to get them to do what we want, right? We want them to continue with hearts, right? We really want them to continue with hearts as the West player because we heard the auction. We know that if North only has four hearts, partner does have a heart left. But North absolutely has four hearts. So all we have to do is be able to overruff the dummy. And here we see the jack as the highest card and the queen is here. Know as West that if we do not get this ruff with the queen of spades, we are not going to get a spade trick, right? They have a finesse they could take, or honestly, the spades are just breaking evenly, so they'll just drop that spade. So we want to make sure we give partner every piece of information possible to tell them to continue with that heart. And we did have a good club, we would play an encouraging club. But here we're playing the most discouraging club possible. We're playing the 3, which is clearly the lowest club we could have as West because our partner can see the deuce. So we want to convince partner that, hey, clubs isn't a future for us. And obviously neither is diamonds because we can both see that suit. So just continue your heart because I'm trying to tell you that I'm likely over roughing the dummy. So I want to get that rough. And sometimes signals are not for, hey, I have a card in this suit, or hey, I don't. Sometimes it's just a way to get partner to do what you know is right. And that's exactly what's happening on this end.